Good morning, everyone. This is Monkurin going live from Tiju's Academy, Tiruvalla branch. Hope you guys are doing good. So let's start today's session with speaking part 3 tips. In my last session, I spoke about the part 2 or the cue card or the task card session, how you can perform better and get a better score or a better band score in your part 2. ഇനി നമുക്ക് part 3 നോക്കാം. Let's look into part 3 and how you can do good or how you can perform better in part 3 to get a good band score. So as you know, part 3 എന്താണ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയായിരിക്കും ഇപ്പം because you have been practicing and you know what is part 3. It's the follow-up session and in the follow-up session you will be asked questions and you have to answer just as part 1 questions you answer. In part 3 as well, it's the same thing. You will be asked questions and you have to answer those questions. So let's see how can we do better and some tips that I prepared for you guys so that you can perform better in your part 3 and get a good band score. So what is part 3? Follow-up എന്താണ് നമുക്ക് ആദ്യം അത് നോക്കാം. Let's go to the first slide. So speaking part 3 tips. So in part 3, you have to speak about part 2 topic in much more depth. Here you have to focus on your ability to express and justify opinions and to analyze, discuss and speculate about issues. Here the topic area is not personal but general. So endana part 3. So namakku രണ്ടാമത്തെ, that's your task card or a cue card കിട്ടത്തില്ലേ. So your part 3 questions will be related to your cue card. So something that is asked in your cue card, that's what will be asked here as well, related to the topic question in cue card. But you have to answer them not personally, but in general. And at the same time, you have to extend your answers. Kore neeti parayanam. Just if you remember, I told before in your warm-up sessions in your part 1. Part 1 നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം സംസാരിക്കുന്നു. We don't need to talk a lot because those are personal questions. Like and dislike ഒക്കെ ആയിരിക്കും ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. So, and what you do and what you don't do. അങ്ങനത്തെ questions ആണെങ്കിൽ 2 or 3 4 sentences maximum is more than enough. Right? Because those are personal questions and you can just answer them. You can give an answer immediately in 2 to 3 sentences, 4 sentences maximum. But here, when it comes to part 3 or the follow-up session, each session you have to extend your answers in a longer sentences. At least 3, 4, 5 sentences you have to extend because ഇവിടെ ഒരു discussion type questions ആയിരിക്കും കൂടുതൽ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് നിങ്ങളോട്. You will be asked more about your opinions, some kind of an analyzing or discussion based questions and what do you think about the issue, what is the solution, something like that. Because I am pretty sure you guys know it because you are practicing and you know what kind of questions come up in the part 3 or the follow-up. But yes, make sure when you are practicing, you answer them in general, not personally. Fine. So let's move to the next slide and see what's in the next slide. Speak about the topic in general. Yes, here the examiner judges you on how good you can discuss general topics by giving your opinion and ideas on what is being discussed. So ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ you have to talk in general, not personal, because the moment you say I or myself, the examiner is going to deviate from there and ask you to answer questions in general, because the examiner wants to know how good you are at discussing or talking about general opinions, in general, not about personal, and how you can give your opinions and ideas talking generally. Right, so here the examiner judges you on how good you can discuss general topics, not personal topics. Personal in the warm-up or the first session personal, but here it's not personal, it's all about general. So you have to talk about a wider range of topics. You have to give your opinions, your ideas, and you have to discuss on it, right, by giving your ideas in an extended manner. Right, let's move over to the next slide and see what does the next slide say. Use linking words and phrases. So linking words and phrases. ഞാൻ ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് ക്ലാസ് എടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട് and I had gone, but let's discuss it a little in brief here as well. So we use words and phrases to connect ideas and to express how we feel about what we are saying. We also use them to sound natural in our delivery. So linking words and phrases എന്തായിരുന്നു ഞാൻ I think many at least 3 or 4 or 5 lives in Mumbai ഞാൻ linking words and phrases നമ്മൾ I had discussed it with you guys. So whenever you're talking, whenever you are speaking, right, make sure you use those discourse markers. നമ്മൾ അത് യൂസ് ചെയ്യണം, right? So we use words and phrases to connect ideas and to express how we feel about what we are saying, right? And we also use them to sound natural in our delivery. So avoid meaningless fillers. Now ഞാൻ ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് ഫില്ലേഴ്സിൻ്റെ കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞില്ലായിരുന്നു, like. So avoid that. Use good linking words and phrases. What happens is നമ്മളുടെ band scores immediately കൂടാൻ തുടങ്ങും when you're using good linking words and phrases. Instead of using those fillers, make sure when you're practicing with your partner or with your examiner, in your institute നിങ്ങളുടെ ട്യൂട്ടേഴ്സിൻ്റെ കൂടെ, make sure you are using linking words and phrases and not using more of fillers use it's like it comes out naturally എനിക്കറിയാം, but you have to get it out of your system. ആ സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ നിന്ന് മാറ്റണം when you're speaking that വരല്ലേ, like, because because പറയാതെ use linking words and phrases, right? So make sure you are, whenever you're practicing, your tutors or your speaking partner tells you that if he or she tells you that you're using a lot of fillers, check. You have your Google with you, you have your phone with you, go ahead, just Google it. There will be so many linking words and phrases that you can download and you can see in your phone. And just make sure you use them in your daily practice, because practice makes perfect. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് നേരത്തെ, it will come out naturally. Practice ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, the more you practice, the better for you. And slowly what happens is അത് incorporate ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, in your daily speech practices incorporate ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, it will come out naturally. It will be embedded in your mind. It will be embedded in your mind that this word means this. And I'm not going to say instead of that. I'm going to say however or moreover. I'm going to use linking words, and then I'm going to go over to the next sentence. So when you're doing this, when you're practicing, slowly it will be embedded in your memory, and it will come out naturally in your daily speaking. So make sure you're using linking words and phrases in your daily practices as well. അടുത്ത slide നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. Let's see. Be willing to extend your answer. So here it's important to extend your answers and responses as much as possible to discuss the topic in depth for a better band score. What happens is, if your examiner is asking you a question and you are not giving the answer in detail, brief you're just giving in a couple, 1 or 2 sentences കൊടുക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ, the examiner is going to ask you, why do you feel, or why do you think it is like that? That question why is going to arise. And when why comes in, it doesn't show good. It seems that you are not able to extend your answers. You cannot speak about a topic in full, right? Your language is limited, so you are not going to get a good band score. So if you need a good band score, right, our third number follow-up part 3 is important. Here, as I told you, personal questions alla varuna, general questions are. So you have to elaborate your answers. Extend the neati parayanam. Instead of getting a why do you feel like that, or why question examiner choikelle. Make sure in your daily practices, add every day whenever you're practicing, add a couple of sentences more. Try to add a couple of sentences more in your daily practice, in your follow-up sessions. This will help you eventually in your examination. When you go for your examination, it will help you out, because the examiner is not going to ask you that why question. You have, when a question is given to you, you answer that question in detail, in brief aitalla, detail aita, extend aita, you have answered it, and that will help you get a better band score, right? So whenever you're practicing every day, and so I know it is difficult, because general aita choikena, you're not ready for it. But if you are practicing എല്ലാ ദിവസവും at least one sentence കൂട്ടി പറയാൻ പറ്റുവാണെങ്കിൽ in every question that is in the follow-up every day, in a couple of weeks, ഒന്ന് രണ്ടാഴ്ച എങ്ങനെ if you are doing it regularly, it will come out naturally, right? Instead of answering 2 or 3 sentences, you know that next time I have to speak at least 4 sentences or 5 sentences in depth and using linking words and phrases instead of saying fillers edune kaalum nallathu, right? Now let's see what does the next slide say. Use the following speech functions to extend your answers. Okay, speech functions to extend your answers. Speech functions endana ആദ്യം ഞാനത് പറയാം. I'll tell you, right? Whenever you're speaking, right, namaka remember you've been given those prompts in your in your follow-ups, right? Prompts use idalle nammal parayna. The same thing here, you are not given any prompts, but whenever you have in the for follow-up questions, whenever you're given a question, make sure prompts bole nammal ividem samsarikkanam, right? Prompts പറയുന്ന പോലെ ഇവിടെയും നമ്മൾ സംസാരിക്കണം. Try to extend. How can you extend? ഒരു opinion based question ആണെങ്കിൽ express your opinion. ഒരു question വന്നു നിങ്ങളോട്, a question is asked to you, try to express your opinion about it. Right? In my opinion, I feel that this should happen. In my opinion പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് try to extend your answers, expressing your opinion. The maximum, the better. എത്ര നീട്ടി പറയുന്നു, the better for you. And try to give different opinions. Right? Different opinion കൊടുത്തിട്ട് ആൻസർ ചെയ്യാൻ നോക്കണം. Second, നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം, agreeing or disagreeing with something. So follow-up, there are possibilities that you can get a question related to whether you agree or disagree with this. There as well, when you are agreeing or disagreeing with something, why you feel that way? Indina നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അങ്ങനെ തോന്നുന്നു. Why do you feel? Why are you agreeing with this? Why do you think that you are agreeing with this? Right? But here, when you are agreeing, say in my country, നമ്മൾ personal അല്ല, general ആയിട്ട് പറയണം. Make sure you are not answering personally, you are answering on behalf of something, for your country, for your state, or in behalf of the society or the public, not personal. ഞാനിത് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് നേരത്തെ, I told you guys before itself that it's not personal based questions, these are general questions. Even if you're agreeing, make sure you agree not on behalf of yourself, not you personally, but when you agree, my country agrees regarding this. My country agrees that India is growing. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട്, or your society, or it should be a group, not you alone. So make sure when you're agreeing or disagreeing with something, it should come out not personally, or even if it's an opinion that you want to get, my country, the opinion based expression aanengilum, make sure it is not personal, but it is in a group and not it's a general opinion that you're giving. Same thing comes over with the advantages and disadvantages of something. So ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ്റെ advantage or any product or service or whatever it is, it's an advantage based or disadvantage based question there as well. So if you feel that the advantages outweighs the disadvantages, or the disadvantages outweigh the advantages, അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു question വരുവാണെങ്കിൽ, make sure there as well, don't take it personally or don't answer personally, answer in a general way, right? So you can say that the advantages are more for the general public. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതിൻ്റെ advantages will be good for the children. Whatever the question relate ചെയ്തിട്ട് കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റ് എന്താണ്, ആ കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ നമ്മൾ ആൻസർ ചെയ്യണം, whether it's the advantage or the disadvantage. There as well, not personal but in general, right? And give reasons for your opinion. What is it? Give reasons. When you're giving your opinion, right? When we give our opinion, there should be a reason. Indina ningakkadu thonunu, why do you feel that way? Indina, what is the reason behind it that you are saying this? Adina karanam endana, what is the reason, right? That is well, when you're giving the reason or the opinion also nammal adu kodukumbo, make sure it's not your personal opinion, it's a general opinion reason. Adinte reasonum kodukkanam, that is in general, not personal. I പറയല്ലേ, in my country or in my society or we feel, അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ ഒപ്പീനിയൻ്റെ റീസൺ കൊടുക്കണം. That's those are ways or those are ideas to extend your answers. Because as I told you, നമുക്ക് Part 3 follow-up minimum 4 to 5 sentence parinjirikkanam. You have to, you have to discuss it. Some kind of the examiner wants to know how good you're good in talking in general related questions. Samsarikkan ningalku capability. Are you capable enough? Are you good in speaking with on general topics? Right? Because you in future you're going to go and settle down in places where the native language will be English. Right? The next one, what is it? Give examples to support your opinion. Same thing. നമ്മൾ റീസണിൻ്റെ കാര്യം ഇപ്പം നേരത്തെ മുമ്പ് പറഞ്ഞു, that give reasons for your opinion. Same thing here. Give an example to support your opinion. നിങ്ങൾ reason കൊടുത്തു and you gave your opinion. നിങ്ങൾ reason കൊടുത്തു. This is what I feel this and this is the reason. Right. Now here, give an example to support your opinion related to the context of the question. Adu orkanam, don't go off topic. When you are answering something, make sure you are answering to the topic question, not going off topic. So give an example to support your opinion. You can say, for example, I think, right, last time during the COVID pandemic, the government did a good job by providing free vaccines to my fellow people, to my country people. And in my opinion, I believe that was, or in my country people, the people from India, my fellow countrymen are proud that it was delivered to us without any cost and charges. So whenever you are supporting your opinion, try to give an example as well. So this way what happens is, namakka 4-5 sentences cover cheyan pattum. You can extend it to the maximum. And instead of the examiner asking you why you feel this, he'll be happy, she will be happy, he or she will be happy that she didn't need to ask you. You have completely conveyed the question's answer and message ellam convey aitundu, right? And let's see, describing the situation in your country. Here as well, it's not your personally parayile, it should be the whole general public of our country. Same thing, thinking about the future. When it's the future thing, make sure you are talking about the future in general, not personal. Personal questions were in the part 1, not in the follow-up. That's in the warm-up. Namakku 2 to 3 sentences related to person. Here as well, thinking about the future, I believe India is going to grow in leap and bounds in the coming future. In the next decade, India will be a superpower. Angane parangittu move. And the same thing, suggesting solutions. Right? Or namala opinion koduthu, you supported your opinion. Now you can give a solution. If you feel that you can give a solution as well there, good enough. You can give a solution saying that I think if this can be implemented, or if this can be done, this is going to be very helpful for the general public. So make sure you're not relating your follow-up question answers in a personal way, but it should come out in a general way. Fine. So let's move over to the next slide and see what does it say. Use a wide range of grammar. As I mentioned before, in your part 2 or your cue card and the task card session, you have to use a wide range of grammar. If you can keep speaking about a topic, this shows that you have access to a wider range of vocabulary and grammatical structure. Right? It's needed to express. Right? Adana ningal express. It's needed to express ya vendi aanalo nammal ee vocabularies and grammar use cheyna. So if you are good, if you can use a wide range of grammar, it's good. And make sure you use the correct tenses. Right? If a question is asked in the past, make sure you answer that in the past tense. Same way, similar. If it's a question is related to the present, your answer should also be in the present tense. Same thing goes with the future as well. Right. So, and all this helps you get a good band score. As I told you, grammar and vocabulary counts for 25% each. 25% for grammar and 25% for vocabulary also count here. So, if you can keep speaking about a topic, this shows that you have access to a wider range of vocabulary and grammatical structures needed to express yourself. And use of the correct tenses like the past, the present and the future is important for a good band score. So wherever you are practicing, make sure grammar and vocabulary. So as I told you, grammar you can work out. Past anangi, make sure your speaking partner is telling you that correcting you and telling you are going off. Right? Of past in the pagaram, you come down to the present, your grammar is not correct. So correct it. Same thing goes with vocabulary. Try to read more and try to get the meaning of new words and try to incorporate that in your daily speaking sessions. new words will help you out because namakku repetition varathilla. Your vocabulary is good. You're going to get good band scores with better vocabulary. Okay, let's move over to the next slide. Use a wider range of vocabulary. ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ അതാണ് സംസാരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. Use a wide range of vocabulary that has phrasal and idiomatic meaning. Use synonyms instead of repeating the same words over and over again. So same thing as I mentioned before. നമ്മൾ എന്താ ചെയ്യേണ്ടിയ vocabulary increase ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി it's always good to have a dictionary in your phone, right? Or e-dictionary download ചെയ്ത് Google App Store, Safari, you can go to Apple Store, whatever phone you have, and make sure if you don't know the meaning of a word, check out in the dictionary, and instead of repeating the same words, check out what's the synonyms for those and use those synonyms in your speaking sessions. And this not only speaking, using of synonyms is also good for your writing sessions as well. Avadeyum namakku repetition marks illalo, you're not going to get good band scores there as well. So it's always good to know a word and know other meaning, same meaning synonyms is there, so you can use it. It will help you out in your writing as well. So make sure you're practicing your vocabulary and your phrasal and idiomatic words as idioms as well. But as I mentioned before, idioms use whenever you're practicing. Make sure it comes out naturally, and it should come whenever you're putting it. Don't force it, and it should come naturally in the context of the question. Our context is that idiom. It should match the context. Don't give an idiom. Try to force an idiom that is not going ahead with the context. Fine. So let's see what does the last slide say. In the last, practice makes perfect. That's an idiom for you guys. So as I told you, all this will only work out if you practice. If you don't practice, it's not going to work out. So if you practice, you're going to get a good band score and you'll fly high. But then all this, as I mentioned, idioms aanengilum, your phrasal verbs aanengilum, grammar aanengilum, vocabulary, all this will only help you if you practice. Wherever you're practicing, make sure you do practice better and go and attend your exams in a good way. And I know you guys will be nervous, but that's fine. That's natural. But if you practice well, you have covered 90% of your job. You just have 10% of nervousness that will calm down after your first session, the part 1, that is the warm-up session. So I hope this session helped you guys, and I'll see you next time with another video that will help you in your speaking sessions. So take care, practice. God bless. Goodbye.